the new ones, they struggled too, but it was always some emotional, traumatic, guilt filled flashback that they had to go through to break through that next level. They always wanted to give somebody a dang on hug
One.
for something.
What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing this evening? I'm Lamar, and this is my brother Casey Fowler, and this is the Fowl Language Podcast.
Yes, sir. We like to talk everything and anything anime, man. We got another good one for you guys. We're going to do a little debate, contrast, comparison, whatever you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
on the old school protagonists in anime versus the new school protagonists in anime. And since you, big brother, brought me into this anime world, if you will, I'm going to let you go first, man. I want to hear your thoughts on it because I actually
All right.
took some notes on this one. So I'm going to go ahead and go in after
Man,
you, sir. So,
he
you know,
got the
after you.
notes, everybody.
Yes,
You don't
sir.
ever
Yes, sir.
have the notes
I don't ever
unless
got
we
the
doing a
notes.
list. All right, so let's see. So when I think about it, I think I'm gonna think about, say, Chainsaw Man. I'm gonna think of Demon Slayer, and I'm gonna think of Jujutsu Kaisen. And so I don't know if I want to start from the. Okay, so we're gonna do there. So I think we'll start from current protagonists. They don't necessarily have that drive to be the strongest. They don't want to be the very best, like no one ever was. They don't want to be Hokage. They don't want to be the king of the pirates. None of that. They just want
True.
to do what they want to do in the world. Like, in Chainsaw Man, my guy is Denji, trying to grab a boob. That's really his motivation. That's what he's about. That he do that, he good, and whatever it takes to get there. Tanjiro just wants to save his sister, and then Yuji. And to me, he almost doesn't even really seem to have like motivation. He almost seems like he's just in the world, and I think that's where
Yeah.
they are. It's like they're kind of in the world, existing, being who they are in a person. So, being who they are in the world. So, you think about Yuji. He really just wants to be happy and have friends and have a good time, really. But he's in this world, and he has thrown the card of one of the worst possible scenarios that he could get. Um, Culling Games is dope, by the way, so far. Or I think we're just getting to the beginning of the Culling Games, or we haven't even got to the actual Culling Games yet. Did watch the Maki episode. It was top tier. It was glorious. So that was fun.
Maki time.
Yeah, that was fun. But yeah, I think they don't necessarily have that desire to be the best, and they just want to make sure that those around them are good. And I think that's a lot more relatable and realistic to folks today, because most folks now, especially in today's world, we just trying to make it. And you can relate, I think, to that a whole bunch more with the anime protagonist today. And then, so going kind of back to the previous ones, I'm gonna kind of jump around a little bit. You have, I think Ichigo from Bleach kind of sits in the middle. I'll say Ichigo, and then the Elric brothers from Full Metal Alchemist kind of sit in the middle, where they weren't necessarily trying to be the best, but they were better than most, if not all, just about, to achieve a goal. Ichigo was just trying to protect his friends. The Elric brothers were trying to get their bodies back whole. So I think that's where they were. They weren't trying to be, the Führer in Full Metal Alchemist, and they weren't trying to be, Squad 1 captain in Bleach or whatever the case was. They were just trying to live. Ichigo didn't even want to be a Soul Reaper, even though I'm sure he was stronger than most, if not all, Soul Reapers. So that's where I think it's a little bit different. I think that's where Ichigo kind of bridges the gap between those protagonists, if you will. And if you listen to a lot of folks, they talk about how Bleach influenced them a lot, especially what's his name, Gege, from the writer of Jujutsu Kaisen. He never shows his face, or they never show their face. He, she, don't really know. They never show their face. So, yeah, that's where that kind of fits. But then going back, Ichigo, not Ichigo, but Naruto wants to be Hokage. Goku wants to be the strongest and fight strong people. So, Goku's kind of different too, but Goku's just Goku. And then you got Luffy from One Piece, who wants to be the Pirate King. And so you have that whole thing, that aspirational save the world kind of thing. And I think that's where it's a difference. Like, they want to save the world. That's their goal, to save the world. The other ones are, well, save the world if it kind of works out. Okay, we don't necessarily have to help everybody. And I think it's darker, too. I mean, it's not as roses and sunshine, I think. So, I mean, it's different. So, now I got some more stuff I want to say, but I really want to hear what you got to say since you got these notes. So what are your thoughts, brother?
It ain't too much, man. I'm gonna start with the old school protagonists, man. They were the push past their limits type of characters, man. You know, they wanted to be the strongest. You know, they fought, they trained, they barely won most of their fights, and you know, they just wanted to be the strongest. They wanted to win. They yeah, I can't even read my own damn handwriting. Okay, wanted to win. Yeah, so they wanted to win, man. Their solution to every problem was doggone train, fight, win. It was simple, cut and dry, plain and simple. And as far as morality goes with the old school protagonists, it was, I'm the good guy, they're the bad guy. I'm not trying to understand the villain. I don't care about his backstory. I don't want to give him a hug. My object is to just whoop his behind and go on to the next one because I am that dude. I mean, just look at prime example, Yu Yu Hakusho when he fought Toguro. He barely won that. He trained and all that other good stuff, and he wasn't really trying to understand, bro. He was just.
I disagree
he just
with you on that. He was.
He just. I don't think so. His goal was just to whoop him. He didn't understand.
Yes,
he didn't.
But I think through their repeated fights, I think they started to understand each other and understood that Toguro was a lot more tragic than he let on.
But he didn't know what he was about while they were fighting. He wasn't trying to understand them while they was in the ring fighting.
By the last fight, I think they did.
It was more of a respect thing, not
watch your Yu Yu Hakusho again.
I'm definitely going. Man, I done seen it 1,000 times. Man, it wasn't no hood. It was.
I mean, it wasn't like Naruto talk no jutsu, but yeah, I mean, I think it was. Right. Yeah, I mean, I think they understood each other a little better.
But you know, there was no understanding the villain and I'm gonna save you from yourself type thing. It's no, I'm just gonna whoop you. That's how the old school was. Now the new school, to me, while I still enjoy all of them a lot, man. They were real emo, man. You know what I'm saying? Their power always came with some cost, whether it was through guilt or through trauma, and there was always some emotional breakdown. And they're gonna gain this ability, but they're gonna lose something to gain said ability, man. Like prime examples of that one would be like Eren Yeager. He went from hero to some like morally complete anti-hero. You got Izuku Midoriya, who was like really trying to understand the villains, and he's crying and over analyzing what they're doing and all this other stuff. And then the criers, the protagonists, now they're criers. How many people in the old school joints have you seen just being big criers and stuff when it comes to who they fight and what they fight for and stuff? Who cry like that?
Naruto Uzumaki.
He's that middle, just like you say Ichigo was. I think Naruto is that middle guy also, because he would be, you know, I'm just gonna whoop you right quick, but at the same time, everybody understands me because I understand you, because we always went through the same thing. Shout out to Naruto. I'm watching Shippuden over because I didn't know that it was all the way dubbed through the war right now, so that's kind of interesting, man. But yeah, that's really the biggest points I really had, really, man. Just the old schools, they was about to fight. They was for the fight. They wasn't about no understanding. There wasn't no emotions involved for real, except for Naruto, because he was really emotional. And then on a side note, you mentioned Ichigo and him being as strong as he was. Ichigo's plot armored down. I don't care what nobody says.
I don't disagree with that. Man, I don't disagree with that at all.
Bro, he was a Soul Quincy bring. What was the other one? Bound, freaking Arankar face, whatever. He was all of those things when it came to a fight. The only time he really trained was when he was getting his Bankai and when he was trying to get his Soul Reaper powers, and when he got his I can't think of when he had the Arankar mask thing. What was they calling them? I can't remember what they were called.
What, the Hollow? He trained a lot.
He trained, but not as much.
Bro, he trained to get his Bankai. He trained to control his inner hollow. He trained to control his bounce. He trained to control his full brain.
He trained.
When he lost his Bankai, he trained. because
But
he
that went
went to
emo too.
Squad Zero to train. He was
But
always trained, and there wasn't a
but it's
training arc. There wasn't that, but he always trained.
I like training arcs personally. But he went emo too. He didn't go emo until the Thousand Year Blood War when they was like, yeah, you don't know who you are, get out of here. So he was just walking around trying to find himself and stuff like that. And me personally, while it's still interesting, yeah, there's some little heart wrenching stuff towards it and all that other good stuff. It's cool, but as a protagonist growing up watching anime, bro, just whoop them and keep moving, man. And I appreciate how the old ones would struggle. You know what I'm saying? Goku even struggled, even though everybody say Goku's the strongest. He never beat Vegeta, by the way, guys. But Goku was the strongest, but he struggled. He struggled against Frieza. He got spanked by Beerus for the most part. Beerus was playing with him in the Super Saiyan God movie or whatever, and he could have got whooped if it wasn't for the help of other people. But the new ones, they struggled too, but it was always some emotional, traumatic, guilt filled flashback that they had to go through to break through that next level to actually get to where they wanted to go. And they always wanted to give somebody a dang on hug for some reason. Like Tanjiro felt for every demon head he cut off. Like, oh my god, I love you so much, but I gotta kill you anyway. And Azuko and I don't know if you've seen the last season, the final season of My Hero, but I'm going to his childhood psyche and I'm gonna save him and all this other stuff. No, bro, he trying to kill everybody. Just do what you need to do and get up out. And that's to me, that right there is probably the biggest difference between the old ones and the new ones, man.
But I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think of who was trying to save. I mean, I don't know. I'm going back through my anime. I'm trying to go broader than just the big three. But I mean, I think there was a lot of that. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of interesting now that I'm thinking about it and your perspective of they were more trying to save everybody versus had a goal of being the strongest. So, or even saving the villains. Did Ichigo do that? No, not really. He wouldn't. No, I mean no, because I think no. Well, Ichigo,
He didn't try to save
Grimjow
nobody. He just didn't
survived.
kill everybody. I mean,
Yeah,
his intention was to kill you. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't trying to
yeah,
save you from yourself or find your inner child or bring it back so you could be happy. He
yeah,
he was just whooping you. You just so happen to live.
yeah. Well, you know what though? Goku tried to save Frieza, but Frieza wouldn't stop.
He did. He did.
He tried to
But
save Frieza a few times, despite
but
everything.
Dragon Ball GT Goku was killing
That's a little different.
everybody.
I mean, you know,
he
some
was
people argue that
killing
ain't even canon,
he
but
was he was killing everybody. I enjoyed that Goku, especially when he
I
was
mean,
doing his Super Saiyan 4. He was killing everybody.
so what I wanted to also touch on, which is probably an interesting thing to look at, is whether you think it or not, the generations of anime and the way they're written and the themes and things like that are going to affect the generations that grew up on them. So I
Very
mean,
true.
think about the cartoons and things like that we watched growing up. We still talk about them to some time for this day for one reason or another. With that in mind, I wonder what the effects of today's anime are going to have on people. Are they going to be trying to understand everybody, or are they going to be not concerned with everybody? Because you see both of that in today's heroes. I mean, you see,
Yeah.
an Aaron Yeager who was like, everybody got to die. I mean, that's just what it's going to be. Or, you see like Tanjiro who wants to hug everybody and be friends, but then I mean he does get to a point where he does want to understand you, but he's not against killing you. So I mean
Oh
that's
yeah,
or
yeah. He gonna
unaliving. So
kill
that's
you.
that's one thing. So I mean, where in the old school, I think they would let you live to fight another day a little bit more. Now they may cry for you, but you got to go
That's a
still. So I
valid point.
wonder.
That's a valid point.
I do wonder how the impact of that is going to mess with the youth coming up now. Are they going to be colder? Are they going to be more compassionate to those they disagree with? Or because the other thing too, I think of anime that we grew up on, there was always training. There was always, hey, you got to work hard, train, 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 train,
Yeah.
train, and you don't always see, like we were saying, you don't see that as much now. I mean, you see it in some. I'm trying to think. Yuji doesn't train that much. Denki doesn't train that much. the dude from Hell's Paradise isn't training that much. I mean, and then you have all your isekai overpowered protagonists that
Mm-hmm.
don't train at all. They
At
just
all.
breathe and you the strongest. And so, I mean, I wonder what that's going to do. Like, is it going to reduce the value of training and working hard to reach your goals or something like that? I don't know. That's just one thing I thought as we were talking.
Well, that's interesting to say that because I mean, you just look at the generation now. They want the easy way. They want to be OP
Yeah.
like right now, right then. So I
Yeah.
mean, that's it. Kind of reflects some of those animes, like you mentioned, like Slime. He's OP. Anos is, which is that dude, man, one of the coldest OP characters I've seen.
An anime that should have ended.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and that's a topic for another day too.
I almost wrote it down too. So yeah, I'll put it
Yeah,
in the spreadsheet.
absolutely do that, man. But I mean, all in all, man, anime is still good, man. The protagonists they
Oh
still
yeah.
pull me in. You know what I'm saying? Regardless
Mm-hmm.
of if they're just emotionally damaged or they just want to fight, it pulls me in. That's why certain characters. I mean, I'm old school, just fight and do the thing. That's why I always like characters like Kenpachi, for example. Let's just fight, bro. Let's just fight.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. What are we talking about? We don't need to understand feelings, so let's just slang these swords real quick, homie. But that's
Yeah.
really that's really all I got, man, on that one. And trying to see if I had anything else as far as that. But no, yeah, it's just and at the same time we got to understand the times. Kind of like what you was alluding to. Just the times are different, man. People are more, you know what I'm saying. I guess conscious. I don't want to say sensitive. I'm gonna say conscious. People are more conscious about
Mm-hmm.
feelings and with how they identify and what I'm saying, their trauma and not being shamed and what I'm saying, and certain things has to be politically correct now and all this other stuff. So those adjustments had to be made for these anime creators to keep doing their thing. So of course there's going to be a huge difference, but sometimes don't nothing beat the classics, man. Nothing beat the classics.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, man, I will say a couple things. I mean, you said you like to see them fight. I like the thinking characters. That's always my favorite. And then I also do like that old school protagonist is kind of sprinkled in there some of the time in current modern anime. You just got to look for them. So
Yeah.
definitely like that. So what do you guys think? Do you only watch old school anime? Because there are some people that do that just don't watch any of the new stuff. If you watch both and you grew up on anime, what do you think is the difference in generations? I'd say, I mean, because you think about it, we grew up on the 80s and 90s anime, but then you also got the 2000s anime versus now. I mean, you almost got, in some respects, 3 generations of anime that we've been exposed to. So, the one that was going out, the one that we kind of cut our teeth on, and then the one that's coming up now. So, what do you guys think to have experienced any of that time of anime?
Oh yeah, definitely put some in the comments. Let us
Mm-hmm.
know. Also, I'm curious, who is your favorite old school protagonist, man? I wanna hear from the long time anime watchers. Who's your favorite old school protagonist and why?
Let me see if we can get a Kenshiro in the comments.